Here I am. I haven't done this in a while. Uh, I don't know how many people are on here. Uh, I don't think anyone is on here. I don't normally do live video on YouTube. Uh, I'm going to just go into this and I want to, more feedback. I want to just talk to, I want to talk to you about the problem that we have as a people with our minds. And I want to discuss it from the standpoint of what we do with our minds in relation to one another. Just got off of a live stream with brother Sabir Bey. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste, oh, that's not the one I want. Let's see. This, this is a stream I want to post. Let's see. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave that link down there. Uh, I'm only doing this live because I don't expect anyone to be here. Uh, I want people to be able to see though the stream that I got off of. I just got off of with Brother Spirit Bay. I don't want to uh, post this as something though that I am uh, trying to get numbers up with, or trying to get my numbers up, uh, because I don't believe in doing that sort of thing. And I have a lot of respect for my brother. So I would never do that sort of thing. As a matter of fact, you can consider me putting the link up to that video as sharing. Uh, I'm only on it in the last few minutes anyway. And Sabir has talked about so many things prior to me coming there. But what piqued my interest to get on there is being in Africa and his title about Africa. So I would like you to really watch that video after you click on the link. As a matter of fact, you can click on the link. You don't even have to watch this one because this is not for the purpose of entertaining you or uh, sustaining you. You know, this is for the purpose of just trying to get across the message of how important it is for us to be supportive of one another And even if that support is calling one another and saying something that you would have a tendency to blast over the internet. You have a tendency to blast over the internet that a brother is a coon. Call him up. Call him up. You guys, we're going to really, really keep ourselves in whatever we don't like as a people. If we keep doing this thing with the internet that the media has done with us, put out a thought that is either degrading, that induces fear, or that exploits. Put it out as a shotgun thought and grab the whole world in an instant. We're going to have to stop doing that with one another. Case in point, we have several gifted brothers whose expertise in communication, expertise in law, expertise and experience in history, literature, and can span the globe. Many of our brothers in their dialogue about law, culture, and politics and the current climate that we may find ourselves in as we look at what's happening globally or in our immediate locale. And for the life of us, we cannot find a way to release those gifts among one another and let our people, as well as the world, profit from those gifts without trying to tear up a brother's soapbox derby or his ride, whatever he's coasting along in. You're going to come and puncture a hole in one of the tires. Now, real philosophers, real orators, real conveyors of world thought, they are not affected in their power and in their gift by your saying something to either demean or throw shade on their presence on the media. Because remember, that's all you're dealing with here. When you get on the social media and say something negative about a person, you're not dealing with them. You're not dealing with that person at all. As a matter of fact, you're dealing more with yourself. You're dealing more with yourself, and you are affecting people who have not solidified within themselves a place of philosophical or unilateral thinking. And when I say unilateral, I mean their sole ability to span any demographic, any experience, or any subject with their own mind. Many of our people have not developed that. Many of our people are still fixated on the imaginations that are imposed on them. It's like this pandemic. You guys, I just ain't been able to get with it. I ain't been able to get with it for not 1 second. I'm not lying to you. Not 1 second have I been able to get with a pandemic. First off, me, I don't trust in anyone that has had a history of doing or saying negative things towards or about my people. Never. That I can never trust you. If you have had the power and exercised the power to say and do negative things against my people, When will I ever trust you in life? And I don't want to go into it too deep because that's not what I'm here for. But everybody knows, you know the names, you know the people who are the face of this thing, as they're trying to say you as a so-called black person is the face of this thing. You know who's the face of this thing. I don't care what you hear on the media. I don't care what kind of stories you hear. I don't care what kind of, well, it came from here and then it came from here. You know who is the face of the mindset that controls the media and thereby manipulates the imaginations of the people. You know who the face of that is. But what I'm focusing in on is how when we do not give a brother his chance to shine in the earth without our criticism, we are proponents of the very thing. I mean, I'm talking about those of you who are out speaking. You're speaking to the nations, you're speaking to the world, and millions of people are listening to you. And you're going to spend time throwing shade on a brother, calling him a coon, criticizing his ways and his practices. Yahusha, commonly called Jesus, was asked at one time about people who were walking around spreading things other than the gospel of the kingdom, which Hamashiach came to bring. Man, you know him as Christ, Jesus Christ, you know, whatever. And when introduced, when spoken to about these people who were preaching things that were not what he was preaching, his only comment was, leave them alone. They're not with us. They're not against us. And whatever they're saying, it has no barrier on what we're doing, what we're saying. We have to learn to take that approach with one another. We have to learn to treat one another the way the powers that rule all over the world do one another. Now, I know we could say that they fight each other and all of that, and they go against one another and all of that. And you have to understand what I'm saying. By the time you see two politicians arguing, that's not anything that can destroy the fabric of the system that is working to keep these politicians in our face and to give the politicians rule and authority. That's only a staged event that is going to crystallize who the real puppeteers are going to pick. I know, I wish it wasn't that simple. You know, I wish it wasn't that real. I wish it wasn't that, I wish it wasn't that blunt and that, but it is. You guys are going through all of this rigmarole with this system about picking a president. You don't know what the history of voting is, and you don't know what the word vote comes out of. But all I would say to you is put a D and an E before the word vote. And they're getting you to vote and pledge your life for 4 years to a man. Now you may say I'm crazy, but I can't hear you because there are no viewers on here right now. So this is something that I can appreciate as being a live stream that gets to a message that it pretty much bores us not to talk about another person that is doing something different from us. We are bored at the thought of leaving one another alone and allowing one another to speak whatever they contribute, and then let destiny, time, and the environment cause that person's words to either flourish or fall to the ground. Because if a person is truly a coon, if a person is truly, I know some of you guys, Candace Owens, okay? Candace Owens, okay. Candace Owens is different. Here's why Candace Owens is different. Candace Owens is different because Candace Owens married to an oppressor, a children of the oppressor. As a matter of fact, that woman doesn't even know how much this man is oppressing her. Candace Owens is a woman who speaks to people that she calls black, that she doesn't really call herself black, but she speaks to people that she calls black with a self-imposed authority that exposes her ignorance. She is not a person who is doing anything constructive for our people. So she does not fit in this category about banding together. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go so far to say this, a whole lot of you ain't going to like that, but anytime any one of us marries one of them, one of them, anytime any one of us marries one of them, you have revoked, you have destroyed your ability to speak to your people. You have destroyed it. As a matter of fact, they're no longer your people. And they're no longer your people by your choice. I'm going to say this, and oh boy, any so-called black woman married to a so-called white man, you have absolutely nothing to say to your people. As a matter of fact, you have denounced your people. A so-called white man having any authority in your life, and a husband is an authority in your life. I know a lot of you sisters don't like that because you were groomed by the women who are under the man who has oppressed you and who present induced by the man who has oppressed you. You are under women who present a form of independence and freedom that only ropes you under the influence of the man who has destroyed the image of your man in your life and who has made you think that there is something to be gained about marrying one of them. This is where we're at in life as so-called black people. I don't call myself black. I stopped calling myself black a long time ago. You see the screen on this thing? You see how dark it is? You could go to the darkest, deepest part of Africa and you would not find no one this color. No, you would not. And I've seen some people that color. Well, I'll say this to you. Something is over your eyes. Maybe some kind of chemtrail or something. I'm going to have to set this camera. Right, set the properties on this camera. Something is over your eyes. Something is causing you not to be able to look clearly at what's in front of you and see the difference in black, dark brown. You know, a lot of us are colorblind. A lot of us can't distinguish colors. I don't want to spend too much time on that because that can be a pointless rant. But listen, you guys, you cannot continue to have a mind that is void of understanding and comprehension about who you are, about who your brother is. You can't maintain that kind of mind and prosper. You can't. It's not possible for you to do that. And those of us who find that we can't, we just can't be entertained, or we can't aspire to anything unless we're tearing another brother down, unless we're criticizing another brother and using a tool as valuable as social media to create confusion, scandal, or insult around the name of a brother that we don't agree with. I'll tell you what that constitutes when you do that. That constitutes you being afraid that if you let a brother flow freely in his gift without needing your approval, you are afraid that that person would prosper in a way that doesn't include you. And I'm telling you, it's the product of you being manipulated by the colonial force and power that continues to hold the world captive today. The books talk about it. And in the final days, he would cause all not to be able to buy or sell, saving they have a mark. Now, I don't care what you say about this pandemic. This is that. Even if it develops into literal marks and literal shutdowns, apprehensions of people who are breaking the new law and buying or selling, even if it comes to that, we're already there with the intent of what this thing was concocted to do and what it is actually doing. And you, if you are tearing down your brother for any reason, you are in that commercial process. Because the destruction of the so-called black man's mind and subduing his imagination is commercial. You hear me? It's for the love of money. It's why you can have so-called white people making money off of you and treating you nice. Because, yeah, there's a natural hatred and an intimidation and an envy and a fear there among Caucasian men when it comes to us, and you're not going to tell me it's not. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There is a fear. That is what motivates Caucasian men. Their love of money. Their love of money. And it supersedes whether they like you or they hate you. It supersedes it. It supersedes it. That being said, You never need to find yourself on the dishing out end of verbal insults, name calling about your brother because you guys don't agree and you guys don't see eye to eye. How many companies do the businessmen who are actually mercenaries? They are assassins of the imagination, esteem, and prosperity of our people. But how many of them do you see tearing down one another and calling one another coons or, crackers or whatever, as they're all selling to us? You don't see one of them jumping online and saying that this company, Heinz, is better than Moo Foods ketchup, and Heinz is, or Moo Foo was saying Heinz is a dirty, rat scumming. I know where they get their tomatoes from and all that. They're too busy profiting off of what they do well and sell well to us. Now I'm going to end this because, like I said, I'm not here to entertain you. But listen, y'all. Our problem is not really the so-called white man. The so-called white man is his own problem, but he makes problems for you because there are holes in your connective, perpetuated relationship with your bloodline, with your kin. It's the only way you can be destroyed. Show me somebody in the neighborhood that has no brothers to fight with him, take up for him. I'll show you somebody in the neighborhood that will have to fight extra hard and become a skilled fighter to keep the bullies and weaklings from coming together and giving him a hard time, whether he's going to the store to buy something for his mama or whether he's in the cafeteria trying to keep his lunch money from getting snatched. Such is the case with us, people. We still have not learned the lesson that everybody else in the world does better than us. Hide one another's dirty laundry and do what's necessary to prevail collectively until you can be on your own, still with the support for your people, and produce a generation of children that do that. This is our problem, you guys. And hey, this is not a skillful video. This is not an entertaining video. But I promise you, this is an informative video that you don't have to be a scholar to listen to or to convey. I'm not a scholar, but I do know this much. My eyes don't look like my nose. My lips don't look like my ears. My fingers don't look like my elbow. But I need them all collectively to be me, to function as me, to do everything that I need to do, to develop, to sustain, and to recreate myself. I need every part of my body. And if I go and talk about the thumb because it cannot do what the knee does, or if I go and talk about the mouth because it does not do what the ear does. Or if I go and talk about the nose, because it does not do what the eyes do, then I am destroying my body by way of destroying one part. I'm not going to spend any more time with this. This is simple. I'm not going to call your name. Find a way to stop saying degrading things about one another on the internet. Call someone. Look, we have no standing in courts. Most of us know law because law is based on truth. Law is not based on anything that the bureaucratic systems have constructed for the purpose of manipulating the masses and especially our people. They have performed legal genocide on the minds of everyone in the world with their makeshift policies that they call law. Law is founded on truth. And you don't need scripted documents that speak partially in Latin, and you don't need that. Now, I do admit you need that to maneuver in this system. And there are brothers, like the brother whose link I left on this video, Brother Spirit Bay. Check the brother out. There are brothers who are versed in law, versed in history, who are a wealth to the world, but most importantly, they are a wealth to the people, our people, because see, we are the substance of the earth. We're the salt of the earth. We're the light of the world, us. No one can enlighten the world because no one has the skill. Everyone that is spoken in order to enlighten the world has only spoken shadowy words of darkness, especially with the English language. We have to listen to one another. Oh, where was I at? Because this is just so much. You guys, this is so much to say. This is so much to say. Because it has so simply been ignored through the centuries. The infighting that causes the people to corrupt from within. The infighting that caused our brother, who can be seen on photographs like this, to be shot down in front of his family. Never mind who were the perpetrators and who were hiding in the back. I don't care how much COINTELPRO or you name it. I don't care how many people concoct plans to destroy, manipulate, disenfranchise, murder. As separated as we are, they have not been able to kill us. And they'll never put our light out. But divided, we will put their darkness out so that you won't even see it because they don't have light. Manipulating truth is not light. Manipulating truth is turning the lights out and giving the people the illusion that you're opening their eyes. And so they are in a pitch black room, locked in a box with artificial light. And every time they turn that artificial light on, it just gets darker. That's a little too poetic and philosophical. Simple. Stop talking about one another and listen to who you don't agree with. What are you afraid of? If you don't agree with him after you listen, don't do anything to tear him down, because there's somebody that agrees with him that can put together all of the components and create on one end of the world a power and a force that penetrates what we have not been able to get past, that will reach on the other end of the world. Unless some of you say that I'm being too ethereal and too spiritual and too spooky, I'm going to ask you one question, then I'm really going to end this video. If what I said is not true about our people giving one another a chance, from the end of the world to the other end, from the all over the four corners of the earth, if that is not true, then how come a man that you have never met has been able to concentrate and fixate our imagination? Now he has the whole world focused. Or should I say out of focus in his lens. And you've never met him. You've never had any contact with him, no dialogue with him, never even laid eyes on him. But the construct of what he does has you roped in to believing something that Ray Charles in his grave can see is against you. And you believe it. You believe what he's saying about the climate of what's going down with this virus, disease, nuisance, variant, whatever. You believe it. You've never met him. You believe the numbers, and you've never seen that many people dead. If you can believe that, then what I'm saying about us all over the world shutting up, saying negative things about one another, and even if we don't agree, have the decency to call and say, you said this, brother. I'm with you in spirit. I'm with you as kin, but I'm not with that. Can you explain it to me? But don't insult the brother. Because every time you do that, you're tearing up in the minds of our people and in the mind of yourself years of work toward us coming together and doing what we were created to do. Rule and enjoy this earth that we live in. Because if you're not ruling or enjoying, what's your life about?